And we want to say welcome back. We appreciate you logging on as we continue this study of Psalm 119, and we've covered 61 verses up to this point out of 176, and God willing, we'll cover all of these, but today we're going to be looking at verse 62. We're in this 8th section of the Psalm, verses 57 to 64, and we'll ask the Lord here to help us as we understand what He's trying to tell us here through this Psalm 119, verse 62. The psalmist writes, and he says, "At midnight I will rise to give thanks to you because of your righteous judgment." So it seems that we're talking about a case of insomnia here, and that's become something of a popular thing in our society now. And as long as people have had things that they're concerned about, worried about, something on their mind, there have always been people who would be awake at night and not able to sleep because they're thinking about things. And that's not exactly what we're considering here. We're thinking about a man who says, "At midnight, I'll rise to give thanks to you." He's saying that whether I can sleep or whether I can, he's saying God's worthy at all hours of the day to be praised. But he's thinking that there's going to be a time when he's awake, he's lying there on his pillow, and he's unable to sleep. He's thinking about midnight. Of course, this is written by a person who's a Hebrew, a Jew, and we think about their day that began at 6 in the morning and it ended at 6 in the evening. The gospel records are very plain to tell us that things happen in the 3rd or the 6th or the 9th, the 12th hour of the day. And so when we think about this person, they're thinking that their day would have technically been over for about 6 hours. And so for them to say, "I'm going to rise at midnight," would have been in the middle of the night for them. And they would be lying there awake and saying, "I can't sleep, and so I'm going to do what right now? I'm going to give thanks. I'm going to think about God. I'm going to let my mind and my thoughts be directed by Him, and I'm going to be thinking about Him, and it's going to cause me in the middle of the night to rise and do what? Not complain or be fretful about things, but to give thanks, to be grateful and consider all the things that God is doing and things I'm grateful for." It's a good attitude to have. Perhaps sad to say we don't always have that attitude. He says, "At midnight I'll rise to give thanks to you because of your righteous judgments." So he's resting. Even though he's not asleep, he's still resting in God's righteous judgments. We think back to the book of Genesis, where God is having this conversation with Abraham, and God says, "Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?" So we understand about our God that He is a righteous judge, that nothing escapes Him, and that He will never do the wrong thing. He will never act unjustly. And the psalmist says that here as he's lying awake, whether he's ill, whether he's got this bout of insomnia, perhaps he's concerned about something, whatever it would be that would keep someone awake. Maybe you're at home right now and you say, "I didn't sleep much last night." Well, what did you do while you were laying awake, while you were lying there in bed thinking about things? Well, the psalmist, he says, "It's midnight, I can't sleep, but I'm thankful, thinking about God and all His righteous judgments. And I know that He'll do right. I know that He'll take care of me. He's been so good. I'm grateful, and I thank Him because He's a righteous Savior." That ought to be our attitude. Hope that that's something that we can all adopt if we don't have it already. Hope this has been a blessing to you and that you can join us once again, God willing, as we continue our study of Psalm 119. God bless.